3, 2, 1.
Here we go! This episode of LASR Nation, we're going to talk about the Glock annual match that just concluded in Talladega, Alabama, and the gunny challenge that they had. Plus, we're also going to look at the LASR Nation virtual postal match that we had and see who actually smoked me and Sam, but not so much Sam. And if you'd like to have your questions answered, we're going to talk to Sam and find out what's ailing you guys out in the field today. And this and more today on LASR Nation's livecast. So shooters, if you're ready.
Are you ready? Stand by.
Friday, guys. It's Ben and Sam. How you doing today, Sam?
I'm doing good, Ben. How are you?
Not too bad. Hey, got a question for you. How does it feel to look at yourself on the video over and over again? Was that like 5 years ago, maybe, or 6 years ago?
You know, hindsight being 2020, I sit there and then go, well, that support hand's a little crappy, and you know, I should have known better. I did know better. I just didn't do it.
There you go. Well, at least it shows that people were human, and we do the same things. But have you gotten any wiser since then?
I would hope so.
I hope so. You probably got a few more kids since then too, right?
Yeah, I would say, when that video came out, yeah, I think I think we just had the twins.
There you go.
Come November, we've got our first daughter on the way. So, yeah, that's adding one more kid to the mix. So,
well, we'll make sure we put you out on the road again so that you can get some sleep. I know that's a better way to do it, but the missus is not going to appreciate that we have you go to different matches while she's struggling with the twins and your oldest one, plus the new baby. She's not going to go for that.
Yeah, she's a champ. Most of the time it's like, everybody would be like, man, those first few months, the new baby, you don't get any sleep. I'm like, I can't really complain because my wife's always like, I got this. I'm like, are you sure? But
I got you. Well, wanted to let you know, for the folks who are watching this on replay or live, it was a short week for Sam and me. Actually, Sam's been in the office since Monday. I was on the road coming back from a match, so I don't know if it's been a short week for you. In fact, it may have felt like twice as long since you were kind of manning the office by yourself with Kathy probably in the background. But it's because we were at the GSSF match in Talladega. I know we talked about it a bit last week. I found out something new about it. I didn't realize what it was. But Talladega has their national match. Plus, it's also called the Gunny Challenge. You know what I mean by the Gunny? You kind of catch the drift what I mean by the Gunny?
Yeah, you hear Gunny and you think mail call.
Yeah, there you go. And I didn't realize it. In fact, I thought it was kind of odd. I said, how many Gunnies are out there that when you say the word or the name, the Gunny, who else is going to be? But I guess it was Arlie Ermy. It was his match that they did with him. And I was watching older videos on YouTube, and sure enough, he was there. And when he passed away, they still kept the name the Gunny Challenge. And if you haven't been to one of these things, I thought it was pretty interesting. It's you ever watch Iron Chef or one of these cooking shows where they bring out a secret ingredient like octopus or some strange ingredient like that?
Yeah.
If you put spinach or broccoli, it'll be strange for me. But that's what they did. So they do the regular matches. I didn't get to go watch it myself, but while that match is going on Saturday at noon, they actually hold the Gunny Challenge. And what it is they have a course. None of the contestants have seen it throughout the week. They don't know what it is. They keep it, I believe, in a silver pickup truck. They don't set it up until that time of the day when it's time to shoot. And The gun that they shoot is obviously going to be a Glock, so you know it's a Glock match. You're not going to pull out
Sure.
some weird gun. But then at that point, you don't know what caliber it is. You don't know its configuration. So this year, I believe it was the Glock 20. So that's 10 mil plus a red dot or an optic on it. So it's a pretty big challenge. And the way we knew it was going is everyone else, you hear the shooter, are you ready? And then the buzzer. Here you hear this air horn going off in the distance. They're in the 2 bays at the very top, and you can hear it going on. And I think there's bleachers there so you can actually watch it. Unfortunately, I didn't get to catch it, but I heard it every single time they hit the air horn. And there is a kitty. There's a prize that comes with it. I believe, and forgive me if I get this wrong, I believe first place is a check for $3,000. Second place, it's a little less. And then third place, you have that. But it is all the matchmeisters, and those are people who meet a certain criteria within the GSSF rulebook that get to shoot that, and they're shooting for money. And to me, it's more for the prestige of it. I think that's pretty good.
Oh,
But I didn't know that was the case. I knew it was a gunny match, but I don't know if have you heard it before, or have you ever caught wind of that?
I'd never heard of it before.
So that's something new. So if you're ever in that neck of the woods, or you're going to go to the match in Talladega, which that is Glock's match, it's theirs. They do matches across the U.S. and like we were at Lima, but that is their match, and I thought it was awesome. In fact, let me share some pictures with you. Let's do this. I'm going to swing it over, and tell me if you see this. Can you see that? Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm going to take it to the very beginning. So when you get there, obviously it's at the CMP Talladega. If you've never been there before, it is like a country club. In fact, when you pull up, here's the entryway to it. It's the marquee, and that's the clubhouse in the back. So they have rooms. That's where you watch the safety video. And in fact, before you get to go to any of the ranges, one of the things you have to do is get your range safety card. It's good. I think it's good for a lifetime, or maybe a year, but I think it's good for a lifetime. And as long as you have that, you're good to go. But it's after watching a video. When you're done there, you go down the hill to where we are at the tactical base, and that's where they actually were having the matches. So they have their own range officers there, and it was a pretty good shoot. I mean, we have folks of all walks of life. Here you see Chris. I believe he was the match director for this event. So Chris, they rotate, but Chris Lamb was the gentleman there. A fellow jarhead, fellow Marine. A lot of them are Marines, but then you got folks shooting from all different walks of life. So here, you like this guy, Brumfield from Airborne, since you're what, Sam? You are.
There we go. There we go.
So he represented. Yeah, Airborne did represent. So it did. The crazy thing was, I'm gonna jump to a different thing, and I'll show you this. It rained quite a bit.
Oh, okay.
Be clear.
Yes.
After what we had.
Saturday or Friday. It felt like that, and it poured down pretty good. But it wasn't the whole time. But yeah, you're shooting in the rain. Here, this is just before the storm, so if we click to it, now you get to see, here we are. I'm hiding out under the awning. These guys are out there shooting, and you can see the rain collecting. Unfortunately, the guys who are pasting it up and the guys who are checking the scores, at the targets, they're walking out in the rain. They have to. I mean, that's part of it. But then we're not made of sugar, so we don't melt, and we're not made of steel, so I don't rust. So I'm not too worried about that. But then it was cool. There's one gentleman, to me, he looked like the catapult guy on an aircraft carrier calling signals left and right. He was super animated. I didn't catch his name, but I thought he was awesome. I would have figured he's flagging down some F-14s or F-18s on the catapult, but he was doing good. Despite all the rain that was going on, it was booked. I mean, I think I calculated, looking at the results, about 300 individual shooters that whole weekend. So that's quite a bit. I mean, Lima, we went there. I don't think it had quite that many, but 300 shooters, 800, a little over 800, maybe 900 guns. So what I mean by that is you might have one shooter, but they might be signing up with one gun, like my son Zachary did, or 10 guns. So there were folks who had 10 guns. The most common number, maybe you find 2 or 3 guns. So, Sam, if you're looking for an excuse to tell Chelsea that you need more guns, tell her you got to go to shoot a Glock match, and you can pick up a couple more.
Yeah, she'll go, and the company's buying those, right?
Yeah. Well, you know what? Maybe we should talk about that. I'm looking for excuses to buy guns as well. But it was good. It was pretty packed. So what was nice about it is on, I believe, early morning on Saturday, before the gunny match, they actually were able to let veterans, first responders or law enforcement officers shoot. So I had to be careful. In fact, I appreciate the social media person and the photographer from Glock telling me, hey, be careful. You're taking photographs of people in the law enforcement area. Some of them don't want to be photographed. So
Yeah.
we welcome all walks of life, especially first responders and law enforcement. So the folks at Glock, they're very conscientious about that, and they pay attention to that. And
Yeah, that's
they also had their shooting team there. So if you wanted to feel
Oh,
bad,
cool.
there's a quick way to feel bad, right? The shooting
cool.
team. And we had our friends, HD Hunter's Gold was there, Brian Conley, he was there, and our friends from Dry Fire Mag. In fact, if I could point the camera just a bit more to the side, it would be us off to their side. But John and his 17-year-old son, Gabriel, actually showed up. We didn't get to say goodbye because at the very end of the Sunday events, they actually went and shot the match themselves, so that was good to see them there. They came all the way from Idaho. In fact, Gabriel, his son, was a last-minute invite to that to the event because I don't think he was thinking of going, but we had a good time. We all had a good time hanging out together.
Yeah, John's good people.
He is.
You know, every chance I get. I think it was what, NRA 2022.
Yep.
I kept frequenting their booth all the time just so I could hang out.
Oh, is that where you were at, man? Okay. No, but it was good. They sell a unique product, guys, and I know we sell certs. We also we work with cool fire recoil devices. Dry Fire Mag, what's unique about them is if you have a Glock, and I think, Sam, you actually have one there in the office. It's a magazine, a special magazine like the Dry Fire Mags that they have. It goes into the magazine well of your actual Glock. And they have a laser cartridge that talks back and forth between the Bluetooth, I think the Bluetooth equipment in their box, is that right? Or in the magazine? And
So, yeah,
go ahead.
the magazine will talk to the phone, but the mag sends I don't want to give away all the stuff, but basically, yeah, it communicates with the...
It does. I mean, and they're not shy about it. In fact, they are teamed up with our friends at LASR Ammo. They make the cartridge, and you don't have to rack it every single time because I think that's the Achilles heel about a laser cartridge by itself, right? If you're going for time, you don't want to reach up and rack and rack and rack. That's going to it's not going to be accurate on your competition scores or times. But with this one, you get your actual Glock, and you get to pull the trigger over and over and over again. That's the one nice thing about that. But at the Glock match today, it actually ended well. This is kind of I'd say the last day or second to last day, but the weather, after all the rain came through, it ended up on a real decent evening, and I think everybody had a great time. It was safe, and it's a great place for new shooters to get into the competitive format. So if you're ever looking for that, I'm going to do a impromptu plug here because it was their annual match. So you would think the annual match, you're going to invite all the winners to the big match meisters to come shoot, but it's not done yet. I think talking to them, it's almost as if they're doing 2 or 3 matches a week, and there's a team of these guys going all over the place. Chris, Fred, Steve, all these guys, awesome folks, very well informed when it comes to firearms. In fact, they have if a gun malfunctions or you have problems with your firearm, they actually have a Glock armorer on site as well.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, so I thought that's pretty good. And if you think you're out of luck because, well, maybe, the annual match is done, I'm going to take you to their page here, and you can find it. Let me pull up a banner. I got to be good about this. If you go there, their events, you can find out more about the GSSF matches, and they still have more to come. In fact, we've been invited to one almost every weekend in October, and I don't know if I could survive. You can go to their page at gssf.pro and see by state or by month what remaining matches are left. And I think this might be a picture of the matches they have left till the end of the year, and the whole thing starts over again. So if you're looking for a Glock match, Sam, I mean, I know you got someone coming, someone special coming along the way here in a couple of months, but if you're looking for something to go shoot at, they've got them all over the U.S. still. So don't think that the gunny match and the annual shoot is the end of it all. So I'd encourage you to go check out Glock.
Yeah,
great guys. I mean, honestly, I'm a believer in their program now. I haven't been there a couple of times.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so what we're going to do, we're going to cut to the next one, Sam. I think what we're going to look at is Sam's Corner. And we're going to cut it. I'm going to cut it to you. Usually this is where we're going to start talking about things that probably cover questions or admin questions that come in from the field. Do you have anything in particular that you want to talk about or you want to look at?
I mean, this week was mostly, it was fairly quiet. I think one of the big things that that we probably should point out. We used to have it on a splash screen on our webpage, and then we'd send out some emails. But when you're using LASR X and you have the 4-digit security code, if you're changing devices, it used to be that we could text those to you. But at the beginning of September, there were some regulations put out that basically to kind of cut down on spam texts and stuff like that, our texts have to get verified and approved. And so we're currently waiting on that. So people trying to receive their texts, they aren't going to get them right now because they're not going out. So we have to revert them back to getting those security codes via email.
Okay.
It's not a big deal. It's not hard. We're definitely going to let everybody know when we're back up and running with texts. But if that's a problem any of you are encountering, either shoot us an email at support@laserapp.com or just give me a call and we'll get you fixed in a matter of seconds. It's not going to take super long, but then at least you can keep training with that.
And
I
would you say, Sam, it's not, let me pull this other banner off here. It's not a case where if you're already getting it via email, you don't have to do this. It's only if you were previously getting it on your cell phone or your text messages. Is that what it is?
Right. Yeah. So by default, when you sign up for LASR X or when you activate your license or whichever way you go about that, by default, you'll just get those emailed. You would have to add your phone number. It's something that you would specifically have to do. So if you've never done that, then don't worry about it. It'll just,
Okay.
we'll keep going as normal. I'm happy to double check if you don't remember. We can definitely do that as well. But just kind of a heads up, because that has kind of been a big thing over the last, 2-3 weeks now, I guess.
It has, and who's to say that even after it's all said and done, if we get approved, there might not be any technical things on the back end, because anytime something in the industry changes, there's always trailing hiccups. But let me cut to this screen here. I think this is where you're talking about, right, Sam? This is where you get to the screen. If you were getting it via email, like in this case, it says check your email for me, I would find my 4-digit code here in email. But this is a case where if you want to click here to add your phone number, I think this is where you're saying some folks have opted to get text messages. Right now, those are being blocked by, I forget, certain groups, and the cellular carriers in the U.S. are not going to receive them, and therefore you won't get it. So you would want to revert back to the email options.
Right.
Okay. Okay. That's fair enough. Yeah, it is. It is a case, and we do pretty much change them on the fly because we're watching those as they come in. So it shouldn't take that long. If we miss it, let us know. But I think one of the things is, even if it goes back to email, sometimes, again, because we're 2A related or in the firearm space, sometimes those email servers out there will slam us into junk mail. So if you've changed it already and you're still not seeing it, check your junk or spam folders. Sometimes you'll find it there because they automatically assume, oh, gun stuff, it should go in the junk folder.
Right.
Okay. Let's see what else we got. I wanted to point out, in some cases, you'll probably see this. I'm gonna change the screen again. Are things such as this LASR X card. So as we're doing events out there, Sam, right, where people are buying the posters. So if we go to a GSSF match, we have Glock practice posters, but some people are buying packs or they're getting packs in the mail, and they might wonder, what is this card for? Is it a credit card? No, we're not running credit cards, but that is actually, I wish I had it here. I thought I had a copy of one here. It's actually the license on the back of it. There's a scratch off surface, right?
Right. Yeah.
And it contains a license for LASR Classic. So LASR X, you log in via the web. LASR Classic installs on your Windows environment, and that is actually a license for LASR Classic. So if you win these as prizes from some of these events who we're supporting or part of, if you get those, that's actually your gateway, your key to LASR Classic that you can install on your computer. So don't lose it. But if you have questions about that, again, you call the office or shoot us an email at support@laserapp.com, and we'd be happy to help you out there.
Yeah, absolutely. And you might even see these in things like if you buy, say you buy a LASR license from Next Level Training, they're going to send them out like that. If you buy it directly from us, we're going to email you your software.
Right.
But yeah, like Ben said, if we're at events or things like that, it's just much easier to give somebody a tangible card. But yeah, I mean, that if you ever call and you ask us, we might ask and say, hey, did it come on a gray backer? Because if you buy LASR X from Next Level Training, that will also come on a card. It's going to look a little bit different, but that kind of helps us delineate where we're looking to try to assist everything and get you up and running as quick as we can.
Right. And in fact, I think, Sam, you actually did some work putting stuff together. This is a snapshot of our Facebook page. It's the LASR Nation. So it's a Facebook group. I do think you need to ask to be, at least to be given access to it. But within there, you put together a couple of guides. One is if you have LASR Classic, which is what is on that card, there's a user guide here. It's a PowerPoint animation, so you can't really download it, or you have to watch it as animation. It is the user guide for LASR Classic. Here you also have a video, and this is a pretty darn good video. I haven't seen one better than it. We probably have to update or add stuff to it, but it is a comprehensive user guide, I guess you would say, for LASR X. It has the I think you and the gentleman in the video actually spent time going over the features of LASR X, and he produced the video. I mean, just as an awesome user, he actually produced a video.
Yeah, he did, and he produced that within a couple weeks. But yeah, I guess
Technical advisor.
Yeah, the reviewing official of that video. And yeah, he did a good job. I've had numerous customers call and go, "I'm buying it because I saw this video."
Yeah. And likewise, if you watch that video and you like what he's doing, I'd say go support his page, because he's a business owner as well. He's a farms instructor, and he produces good quality content. Go to his page, subscribe, like it, show your support, because in the 2A community, you know, sometimes we're picked on or kind of I'd hate to use the term persecuted, but yeah, it's always good to support a fellow 2A member, whether it's an instructor, a business, anything like that. All right, cool. Anything else from that, or you think you got pretty much most of the questions that come through for support questions or help that you have?
Yeah, I think I might touch on, just because I see it on your screen there, the logging into LASR X. So if you have LASR X, one thing I do get occasionally is that we'll have customers say, you know, hey, I put in my login credentials to LASR X and it's not saying there's anything there. A lot of times, yeah, that video will show you how to log in, but that button in the top right corner of our webpage, that's where you would go to log into LASR X. And then it'll take you right here, and that'll start looking normal. Sometimes there's a mix-up between logging into the website and logging into LASR X. They're two completely different things. So just because you have a LASR X account doesn't mean that you necessarily have a website account, and vice versa, which is completely okay. But yeah, you would the easiest way I tell people is just, hey, go to our website, in the top right corner, hit the LASR X button. And that usually gets everybody rolling. But there are those couple videos on that LASR Nation page. One's a real quick one. You don't have to hear me yammer on like you are right now, but it'll go real quick.
I like yammer, Sam.
Well, you know. And then I think we have another one, probably. I don't know if it's on this or if it's on the YouTube page, but it's more of like an 11-minute real in-depth where I'll walk you through everything. If you got that card and you're just starting out and looking at it kind of going, what am I supposed to do with this? You can go watch that and I'll walk you through everything. It's super informal, so you know, don't harp on me too much if you're like, this video sucks, you know, but you know, I was
You get those type of calls, Sam? You suck, or the video
I
suck?
think our customers are too nice to me, really.
I think they're complaining about my videos. It's my mug that's usually on those things. But no, yeah, you do an awesome job. And a lot of times you'll get Sam on the phone, or it'll be me. We're all supposed to pick up the phones here, so you'll get someone who pretty well knows the material. But if anything, Sam is the one who taught them. So don't feel like you're getting short shrifted just because it's Sam again. No, he's actually taught a bunch of people the information we're giving back to you. Good deal. Well, let's jump to the next one, Sam. We're going to talk about, I think, something that folks have been waiting for. It's going to be let's see, we'll pull this up here, LASR Nation virtual match results.
Oh, yes.
We had talked about it. It's been going on for a while. I don't know if you guys have seen this. I'm going to change the screen here. If you go to our page, I'm going to go here. There's this LASR Nation postal match. And in here, what we did was, and it's related to our friend named Steve. He was saying, why don't we produce just simple matches like the good old-fashioned postal matches, but have people shoot it on LASR dry fire, and send in their results. There's no wagering, there's no prize right now, and there's nothing other than bragging rights, and you get your name and name pushed out there. So here, if you go into this page, you'll actually see what the folks were shooting. I mean, this is what we have, and in fact, I'm going to cut to a different scene here. Sam, let me know if this works for you. I'm going to cut to this image here. It's actually a impromptu image of the room that I'm in. Can you see that okay?
Yep.
So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to go back to this page again. What we had folks do is come to this page, download certain targets, and shoot it based on the rules or conditions of this match. And it was fairly simple. So what we had people do is download the targets, and these are 8.5 by 11 sheets of paper. Nothing fancy, nothing special, because you figure everybody has these sheets of paper. And what it represents is, interestingly enough, if you look at the steel plates that you have out on the range, they're 18 inches by 24. These sheets of paper are 8.5 by 11. They're roughly the same proportions. So we said, look, if you stand back 7 feet away from these things, if you tape them up on the wall like we have here, it will be as if you're looking at steel plates 5 yards away. And let's have them just shoot at brute speed. Nothing fancy. Just get those shots in there and let's see how fast you can go. And that's kind of what we did here. So the results are, and this will be bragging rights here for folks. We posted the results here. And I thought I was pretty darn fast. What camera am I on here? I thought I was pretty darn fast, and that's me sitting on my butt on a chair all the time. But Sam comes along and smokes me. So you see here that I'm not even on the page anymore. I'm not on the page. Sam is on here. But we had a few people submit their results on the link, because you can just submit it directly on the link after you shoot your results. And the fastest times, actually it was a two-way tie. Sam, can you see who those are? You can see that on the screen, right?
Yeah, the two-way tie was between Erik Osterman and I don't know Robert's last name.
Right.
But, I mean, for 67 and shooting sub 1 second.
Pretty darn. I don't think I'm out of the holster, and that shows that, hey, you don't dry fire enough, Ben, even though you are you're at LASR. So I can definitely do a lot more, because I'm not even on the screen. But let's zoom in just a bit. So let's take a look at what Erik did here. This is him using, I think this is LASR X, right? He's using LASR X. And you can see, using LASR X, you see his overall time of 0.97. You can see where shots land on those targets. And keep in mind, this is the same feel as shooting at steel plates at 15 feet or 5 yards away. So this is just brute speed, 3 targets. His first shot after the buzzer was 0.56. His total times, look at his splits, 0.2, and then his total time was 0.97. Now, let's take a look at Erik. Let's jump to, let's put this up here. I'm going to do the banner. I spent time doing the banners. That was
Erik, wasn't it?
Oh, that's Erik. That's right. So the next person is Robert. So let's take a look at what Robert had here. He also came in, and I believe his time was the same.
And he's in LASR Classic. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Report Center.
Yeah, go ahead and mention that.
Yeah, so I mean, the cool thing about these matches is you can shoot it with whatever software of ours that you have. Robert's right here is done in LASR Classic, and LASR Classic has a report center in it. So he just went into the report center and he pulled up all 3 strings that he shot, right. It looks like. So,
and he got progressively faster. I'm trying to look at it, what it is. I think he started at over 1 second. Then the second string, he broke 1 second. And then now he posted 0.97. So that was his one. In fact, if we zoom in, I only have a zoom in of his last string. But this shows his same splits and stuff.
Yeah, his first one was my fastest. So that should tell you at how much I need to practice.
Well, you just need to be a spry 67-year-old, Sam. That's what you got to do.
Yeah, I wish. I hope.
And then, so we're going to go to that. What's interesting, the next person was Amanda. And I'm going to pull it up here. Let's pull Amanda's times up here and let's switch it out. So we have Amanda's time. She shot actually 1.02 seconds. She's shooting back at LASR. Again, they're using LASR X. But what's funny, what's kind of cool, I don't say funny, is I believe Erik and Amanda are father-daughter.
Yes.
So they had a little friendly competition amongst themselves. So daughter is fast on the heels of dad here. Yeah, I'm sure dad's pretty proud that, I still beat you, but she's coming up pretty fast because her splits are 0.2. She got out of the holster at 0.59. and she shot just barely over 1 second, which is pretty darn good. Say, I mean, what was it that you and I shot? Let's go back here.
Yours was a 114
No,
and mine
don't say
was a
that.
107.
No, you don't have to say my time, man.
Oh,
But no,
well, you were gonna go back. I just
no, there you go. Well,
saving
see,
you time.
you notice I'm not on the screen, so that was pretty good. I'm not on the screen here, so I could have said I was 1.07 or 1.08 or 9, but no, I won't say that. Again, it was just a friendly way for folks to do a little competition. It's going to get colder in some places, so maybe you want to go indoors and razz each other. You're not using ammo. You can do it any time of the day. But we're going to keep posting some of these small virtual postal matches, and eventually we're going to invite folks, once they get the hang of how to set up LASR X and do stuff like this, or LASR Classic, we're going to do actually a live virtual match between people who want to join in. So we're just using this as primers or primers, I guess you would use the term, to get people accustomed to doing this. So keep your eye on that link that we had here. Again, you're going to see it here. LASR Nation Postal Match. You'll see the next challenge coming up. I will probably post it this weekend. And whereas this first one was about brute speed. Don't care where you hit. If you notice, you can hit the bottom of the plate as long as you get it on the plate. We just want speed. Now we're going to throw a wrench into it and say, now let's make it let's tighten it up and get a little more accuracy involved. So that's probably the next stage.
Yeah.
So
And they're really fun. Like, you know, and they don't take that long to set up or anything. I think.
No, it takes 0.97 seconds. No.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, but Ben had asked me one day, he said, hey, Sam, go shoot the postal match thing real quick and get some results on there. And that particular day, I think I was busy doing something. And I said, yeah, I'll try to get it today. I don't know if I'm going to have time. And like, sure enough, I think I had set everything up and was done in like less than 10 minutes.
There you go.
You know, so it didn't take that long at all. Now, I mean, not obviously 10 minutes of dry firing is better than nothing, but you know, I should be doing a lot more than that. But
yeah, but it is. We're trying to show people that dry fire doesn't have to be super sexy or super expensive where you're lugging a bunch of equipment around. Sheets of paper that you get off your printer. You have probably be a cert or a laser cartridge or a dry fire mag. You can do that. Well, maybe not a laser cartridge because you got to rack it each time. That's not gonna work for you. But then LASR X, take a picture of the screenshot, post it, and then you get to brag. So in this case, Erik and Robert and Amanda get their name not in pixels, but not in lights, but maybe on pixels or on the website. So we're bragging about them today.
Right. Well, and the thing about it is this was massive amounts of humble pie because I'm at the age where I should be considered like in the prime of life. But we've got Robert who beat me out, and then we've got Amanda's 12. So,
I don't know. I don't know how old she is, but I know I've seen pictures of her. Sometimes we'll post when people send stuff in. We'll post their pictures, and I only know it's father-daughter, and that's pretty awesome, I think.
Yeah, I talked to Erik quite a bit actually. He's one of our customers that I just kind of recognize as soon as I see it come up most of the time.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I mean, we talked to him quite a bit. But yeah, he was he was talking about how much fun him and his daughter had just even shooting after they had posted their results. And it's true. I mean, like at SHOT Show a couple of years ago, I was doing that with one of the other guys that worked in the booth, and we were just like going back and forth all day, and it doesn't get old. It's just funny.
And it's bragging right. Guys like to brag. We like to razz each other. So it's a fair way to do it. And then maybe we'll talk about you if your ears are burning on the next episode. So there you go. And again, keep an eye out for it. We'll update it, and there'll be a new match. And then at some point, maybe look on Practice Score on our website. We're going to start doing live virtual matches where you're going to post up your target. When we cut to you, it's your turn to shoot. So you might be shooting against folks in Dallas, Oklahoma, Ohio. Don't know, but we're going to try that and get the community going here. Yeah, so awesome. In the meanwhile, let's do this. If you think, let me pull this up here. If you think you have to wait for drills or practices, our friends over at Shooter Ready Challenge always post a video. This month they won't because they just had a big event out in Oklahoma City, which was the Guardian Conference. These are the Shooter Ready Challenge. If you don't know it, our friends over at Concealed Carry Inc. They had a big match, so we probably won't see one for September. But what you have is drills. So here you see Riley. He just posted one Shooter Ready Challenge for a wheel gun. or your revolver. So he's not using any laser on this drill, but he's saying here's how you can practice using a revolver and what's unique about a revolver versus a semi-auto in your dry fire practice or in your carry lifestyle. So I would encourage you, if you're looking for drills, you don't have to come up with them yourself. You can simply just go to laserapp.com/SRC for Shooter Ready Challenge, and you can get a whole library of stuff. I mean, again, he doesn't just do dry fire stuff. In one of these cases, he's also showing you how to apply or handle, first aid while you're maintaining control of your gun and probably having to return fire in some cases, unfortunately. And they've been going for a while, so have your hearts, filled to your heart's content on different drills. And what's cool about it is, Riley talks about it on the video, if you sign up, you'll be notified when the next episode comes out, but you get entered to win some gear. So I think that's pretty awesome. You win some gear. I like free stuff. Free is not a 4-letter bad word, if anything.
Yeah, right.
Right. Okay, cool. So here's something I want to talk to you about. And it's something that has been in the back of our minds for a while. And it is, let me change the view here. It is bringing in guests to talk and ask questions and interview them. And the idea is, let me close some of these banners. What the idea is a lot of folks out there are pushing material, good content, but it's a lot of times it's material for folks who already know what they're looking for, right? So they are either a seasoned gun owner, or they've been carrying for a while, and they're looking for more advanced types of classes. But we wanted to address folks who maybe they're looking to buy their first gun. And coming into a gun store, sometimes you think we talk weird. We have our own language, we have our own culture, and there's certain behaviors and habits you don't do because you'll be looked at as, man, this guy's scary or dangerous. We want people to understand what they need to look for or how to go into a gun store and look for their first gun if that's what they're looking at. And more importantly, if you buy your first gun, and not everybody, I would say, are probably ready to buy the first gun, but if you buy your first gun, how do you find quality training? Because you just go and run, I was going to say the yellow pages, that dates me a bit, but you just look for someone off the internet and say, oh, they're telling me how to shoot. Or do you go to your Uncle Joe or Aunt Susie to teach you how to shoot? Maybe they're great instructors. But if you are in places, and we got a lot of customers from New York, LA, Chicago, a lot of gun, what should I say, Sam, unfriendly, would you say, gun unfriendly places? You might not be able to walk into a store and ask off the bat, how do you learn how to shoot? Or perhaps your friends, they don't want to talk about guns and you don't want to ask them. Well, we're going to bring somebody we met. Sam, you know this gentleman, a guy by the name of Steve Teutsch.
Oh, yeah.
He's one of our good customers as well, and a longtime friend with you. I think he's been on the phone with you several times. We're going to bring him in to have him answer some of those questions. So what I want you to do, and let me share the screenshot here. Next week, we're going to have him in, and you can ask him questions. But if you'd like to ask questions, shoot them, I like that. Shoot the questions to this email address so we can have him answer them. It's readyaimask@laserapp.com. I try to do a play with it, ready, aim, fire, but readyaimask@laserapp.com. And we're going to ask Steve to talk about this stuff. What do you look for on your first gun? Should you buy a gun? And two, when you are ready to go training, where do you go to ask? You go in the sheriff's department? You go in a gun store? Where? What's the best way to do it? And also, how do I know that person is a good instructor? How can I tell?
Yeah.
So, Sam, I don't know if you got any comments or questions on that?
No, I mean, Steve's a great guy, though. I mean, I've definitely been pretty well familiarized with him now for going on a year. But yeah, super, super nice guy. Definitely willing to answer any questions. I mean, and knowledgeable about this kind of stuff. So
Right.
Be a guy to definitely hit up.
Let me throw up a quick video. I mean, you guys, I think we've seen this last time, but I think it's probably a good way to do a quick video. He was the sponsor, our sponsor, at the Lima GSSF match. So I'm going to throw this here and let's see if it rolls without doing too many commercials or anything. So bear with me here. I'm going to throw this up on the screen.
Last year we had 158 shooters, shot 271 entries. This year we're expecting 250 to 300 shooters and over 400 entries. We're promoting the good side of shooting. This is a sport. These people are in it to have fun.
So that's Steve. And in fact, I asked him for a quick bio. So I said, why should we, if folks want to know why should we listen to you, Steve, here's what I asked him to provide. So he's dedicated his life to helping Americans navigate the world of firearms, and that's true. He's been around for a while. He started off with a .22 caliber single shot squirrel rifle passed down from his father, and he still owns that same rifle. So that's pretty cool. It's an heirloom, I would say. He joined the NRA at the age of 20, not because of financial gain, but because he wanted to give back to the 2A community. His mantra, and I like this, is everyone can do something. So you don't have to, you don't have to be a heavy-duty firearms instructor, but he believes everyone can do something. So his background spans, so here's his background. It spans from instructing youths to seniors, including individuals with physical challenges. So if you think, hey, I'm missing an arm, or maybe I can't see very well or can't hear, Steve has been doing this for a while. He works with folks with physical challenges. So if you're a youth, a senior, physical challenges, shoot some questions to us. He'll be able to answer them. He's well equipped to guide anyone willing to learn. He's a certified NRA senior training counselor. He's authorized to teach 13 different disciplines. He's earned accolades as an NRA Recruiter of the Year. He's served as an NRA field rep. I know that. I've talked to him many times. He's competed in IPSC and USPSA events. So he's also not an instructor, but he's a competitor. He held an FFL license. He's worked as a retail gun salesperson. So if you're talking to someone at the gun counter, he's probably been there before, and he knows what to give you guidance on and ask questions so he can point you in the right direction of what firearm to choose. And he's also served as a state of Ohio CCW instructor, and he's even, I like this, a certified gunsmith. What I want to point out is he's going to answer questions, but it's going to come from the perspective of what he knows and he's experienced in the state of Ohio. A lot of things are in common with Nebraska, Texas, but it's specifically going to apply to his background in Ohio. What I would do is, if you have questions or concerns like, does that work in my state? Does that work in Texas? Always check someone who's authorized or informed for your area. But in general, a lot of these principles, like the 4 universal rules of gun safety, apply anywhere you go. I think it's a safe bet. What say you, Sam?
Yeah, no, I would agree. I think there's a lot of fundamentals that are still, like you said. They branch or not branch, but breach every state boundary. Regardless.
That's why we have reciprocity. A lot of states have reciprocity.
Yep.
So just to wrap up his bio line, it says, but his most valuable asset is his 30 years of experience as an instructor. So you saw those accolades. As an instructor, that's his most valuable thing. And I think the greatest challenge and reward for him lie in taking someone who's both curious and apprehensive about firearms and transforming them into a confident shooter. For him, he's big on safety. I've talked to him many times. He's big about safety and emphasizing it as part of the training regimen, so it continuously until it becomes second nature. So that's who we have in store for next week. We might bring them back for multiple sessions depending on the questions or depending how the conversation goes. But folks, if you want to, again, know about your first gun, if this is something you want to talk about, you just don't know who to ask, shoot us some questions or listen to the discussion we have with Steve next week. Or if you're looking for training and you want to know, how do I know I'm not getting had? Not that instructors are like that, but some instructors are definitely better than others simply because of the way you take in information and learn. Steve will help you answer those questions as well. Yeah. So that's what's in tune for next week. And look, I think we're probably at the bottom of the list. We do have the one most painful segment, and I think this has definitely got to be what folks stick around for, Sam.
Oh yeah.
This is it. It's about you and me and us talking about. Yeah, I like that wheel of woe. You're right. It is. Whoa, is that really what they said? Or for you and me, it's like, oh, really? This is what we got to talk about. Oh. So, Sam, are you able to control it and spin it? You want to give it a shot?
I don't think I can.
You can't?
I trust you.
Okay. It's rigged. It's a rigged wheel. So let's do this. So in this, there's several topics. It's a topic that Sam and we're going to make Steve answer the question too. We don't know what it's about. There's several different topics, so we're going to spin it here and let's see what we got. Here we go. Stop. Let's see what the next one is. Favorite food? Did we do that one last week, or is that new for us?
I don't think we did this one last week. I mean,
Okay. So you want to go first, or I go first?
you know, when it comes to favorite food, I like all food
Oh,
or most food.
okay.
Now, I can't say all because you could definitely tell me something. It just depends on what I'm in the mood for. I mean, you can't ever go wrong with like a good cheeseburger or something, but
Man,
yeah,
I thought you were going to say something like you like MREs or something like that.
no.
And you're going to try to throw at me, I like crayons. Is that what it is?
Hey, see,
So what would you say? You definitely, what is your favorite food? If you had to narrow it down to if I were on a desert island, okay, I'd start off with this puppy.
yeah, I'd probably start off with like Italian food, like whether that's spaghetti or lasagna, something
Okay.
like that.
Okay. All right, I like that. All right. I do like that food. And if I stood up, you would see that, yeah, I do like that. I do like all sorts of food just like you. So I guess on my end, it's something new because I learned how to cook it recently. Not recently, but ways back. It's Texas barbecue brisket.
Oh,
I thought I was going to say pizza and hot dogs because I honestly do love those things. But man, if I'm gonna bust one out and cook it this weekend. A Texas
Oh.
barbecue brisket. And what's unique about Texas is, I've been to barbecue places. They do barbecue pork, wet and dry barbecue. They smoke with hickory. I believe in Texas, the wood we typically use here is mesquite, and it's always this cut of beef brisket. It's like a 13, 15, maybe a 20-pound brisket. But oh man, you pick it up,
it
it falls apart if it's
it
done
just falls
correctly.
apart. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's
Absolutely.
I remember many a times being on the phone with you and I got to go check the brisket. And I'm like, oh, dang. Like,
I got you. So if there's ever a zombie apocalypse, don't look for me because I don't want you to come and get it. But Texas barbecue brisket's what's going to be on my plate if we do that.
it's
I'm
okay.
gonna
I know
eat
where
that.
you live.
Okay. Well, I'll bring some up to Nebraska next time I come up.
Yeah, that'd be. Whew.
All right. So that is it. I guess we could have asked that to Steve, but we won't know until next week. Who knows what next questions come up? If we get a duplicate, like we've answered food, and I think the other one was favorite caliber, we'll spin it again until we get a new question, and then we'll eventually replace it. Yeah. So I think that's it, guys. I mean, what is this? We did this for about I don't even know. Just short of an hour. It's a short week, so we'll cap it at that. But other than that, we'll see you again next week. Stay tuned, and don't forget, send us those questions. I want to push it one more time. Send us those questions for Steve at this email address. It's readyaimask. I should have done better with that. readyaimask@laserapp.com. So until next week, stay safe. And what do we usually tell them?
Train safe, train smart, and train often.
And we'll see you at the range. Take care, guys.
All right.
LASR